I've always been attracted to the dark and macabre, especially vampires. When I was young, Dad used to let me stay up late some nights and we'd cuddle up on the couch and watch all the classic black and white horror movies. Out of all the classics, I fell in love with Dracula the most. I mean, how freaking romantic is that story? This handsome, suave, mysterious man who puts you under his spell and bites your neck and makes you a creature of the night. Ooh. I still get tingly thinking about it. If anyone asks who my first crush was when I was young, the answer was Dracula. I grew up, went through my teenage girl goth phase, moved away from my hometown, got a job, moved to the big city. When I left most of my old life behind, I still always loved all things vampires. One of the first things I bought for my new apartment in Brooklyn was a giant framed poster of the original 1931 Dracula, starring my first boyfriend, Bela Lugosi. The invite came innocently enough. You have been invited to join the group Vampire Lovers. Interesting, I thought. I wonder which of my old friends invited me. I clicked join, and after some distracted scrolling while watching Dancing with the Stars, mostly forgot about it. A few days later, I saw a message from an unfamiliar face and name. Lawrence Sutton. Hey, saw you in the vampire group. I'm in Brooklyn too. Grab a drink with me? Well, that was unexpected. I scrolled through Lawrence's pictures. He was definitely my type. Tall, dark, and mysterious looking. There was definitely something about him. I looked up at the Dracula poster in my living room. What do you think, Bella? Should I? Bella, who probably wouldn't understand social media anyway, offered no answer. I tapped away at my phone. Sure. What did you have in mind? He immediately replied with an address and instructions. Great little speakeasy spot for vampire fans. So much fun. Text me when you get here. I picked out an outfit that I knew I looked great in. Black? Why not, right? I took an Uber and made my way downtown. The block the speakeasy was located on was quiet. Perhaps a little too much so. Somewhere up the block, a trio of girls, probably a few rounds of drinks into the night, giggled and laughed as they made their way to the corner. I approached the nondescript door. From behind it, I could make out the muffled sound of music and people talking and laughing. As I was about to make my way inside, a hand clapped down on my shoulder. I whirled around in terror and came face to face with Lawrence Sutton. Oh, hey, Sarah. Sorry, I didn't mean to scare you. I wasn't sure if it was you until I was up close. Immediately recovering from the scare, I composed myself and smiled. Lucky for you, it takes more than a cheap jump scare to frighten a girl like me. He smiled back. Just the kind I like. Shall we go inside? I'd love to buy you a drink. We made our way to the back area of the bar where we found an empty table. Lawrence, or Larry, as he told me to call him, went to get us drinks. I looked around and noticed almost everyone else in the bar had a strangely uniform look. Black clothes, all of them impossibly flawless looking. Some of them appeared to be eyeing me suspiciously while carrying on their conversations. Maybe I was just being a little uptight. After all, it had been a while since I had a night out. Larry made his way back into the bar with our drinks and sat beside me. After some getting-to-know-you small talk, the subject shifted to vampires. So, tell me, what is it you love so much about vampires? Swallowing the last of my drink and already feeling a little tipsy, I went on about watching Dracula as a kid and the whole romantic aspect of vampire literature. Larry shook his head. I don't know, Sarah. To me, vampires were always more about that animal part of ourselves that we can hide from the world, the beast, the hunter that comes out at night to feed. Larry stared intently, his eyes fixed on me. Well, it would be nice to live forever and never get old, I said, slightly unnerved, trying to find some middle ground after all his talk of beasts and hunters. Oh, you have no idea, Sarah. It's a shame, though. See, normally I'd try to at least give you the whole ridiculous vampire seduction bit that you mortals seem to enjoy so much from the movies, but you see, our social media outreach has been a bit slow this month, and we are thirsty. I wasn't sure what kind of game Larry was playing, but I immediately didn't like it. Eyeing the exit, I went to stand up and tell him where he could shove it. Quicker than I could move, Larry grabbed me from across the table. I screamed in protest as he pulled me close to him. Get your hands off of me! Immediately, the room fell silent, and all eyes were on me, confused. My eyes went back to Larry. The handsome stranger from Facebook looked different now. He opened his mouth to reveal a mouthful of razor-sharp fangs, glistening in the dim glow of the bar. Feral, animal, growing. Nothing like any of the vampire fiction I had read online. Somewhere within the crowd, a girl started laughing. High-pitched and constant, as if drunk and being told a funny joke from a friend. More laughter broke out in the bar. They were laughing at me. His voice now, part inhuman growl, spoke.
Sorry to disappoint you, Sarah. The movies never do it right. We vampires aren't here for romance. We're here to eat you.
With that, he yanked my arm up to his impossibly large mouth and sank his fangs deep into my arm. I screamed in terror as the blood began to immediately spatter onto the table underneath me. Like the great white sharks I had seen in those National Geographic specials, the sight and smell of blood set the rest of the bar into a frenzy. Larry wasn't the only vampire in the bar. I was the only human in the bar. Before I could even try to break free from Larry's iron grasp, the rest of the bar was already upon me. Teeth sank into me from all sides, beating hungrily. I watched as my blood splattered on the chairs in front of me, spraying the surging creatures with a fine mist of red. They moaned and licked at their chops as in ecstasy, writhing in my blood as my life drained and my consciousness faded to black. The last thing I remember was the realization knowing that vampires were real, but I was nothing.